Good afternoon. I've come on today to show you how to get a watercolor effect on some of your collage type things, or even as a background that's permanent. And the reason this is important to me is the fact that when I collage layers of different things into my art journal or onto a page that I'm working on, if I want that sort of watercolor look, but not the reactivation type of thing, I really want a permanent type of ink. So what I'm going to use today to color my collage elements are these Derwent Inktense pencils. Now this is a small set. They are water-soluble ink pencils. And the thing about these are that when they are dry and they have been completely activated with water, they then become permanent. You can do a lot of things with them. You can do something just as simple as coloring with them, and you could use a brush. I'm going to use a watercolor brush today just because it's easier and I don't have to have a big tub of water. But when I color with this, I then get a watercolor type look, and that's just coloring with them. Now, my favorite way to use them, let's get this all cleaned off of here, is to take the pencil and actually pick up ink Now, if you're going to change colors, you want to get rid of the ink that's on your watercolor brush. That's one of the things that using a regular brush and a thing of water, you would just swish out your brush. But before you pick up another color to keep from getting mud, just like you would with any other watercolors, you make sure your brush is clean. Now, I prefer this way of using them to using them to draw with, simply because I feel it gives me more of a watercolor effect. That's just the way I'm using them right now. Not really using them like colored pencils, I'm using them more as watercolors. But like I said, one of the reasons I really like to use these is the fact that I can color. These are stamped images. I just stamped a lot of different images on book paper. And then I can sit and color these in if I want them to be colored in. I've also stamped on tissue paper And I'm going to show you how to work with that in just a minute. And both of these things are great for collage. And if you want your pieces to be permanent so that you can use Mod Podge or matte medium to glue them down, then this works beautifully. Now I have stamped these images with Stays on ink, which means that it's permanent. Archival ink also. Anything permanent so that when you get water on it, there again, it's about the collage aspect of it. As I said, when I move from one color to the next, I try to make sure that my brush is clean. The other thing to do is to work from the lighter to the darker color. This one's not near dark enough, so we just pick up some more. Now as this dries, you can also go back over it with other colors, but the water won't reactivate it. And of course, the more color you pick up, the deeper the shade will be. Now if you get your brush and you want to go on, you want to do something else, take a tissue or something and just squeeze your brush, a little watercolor brush, or rinse your brush out. You just want to get plenty of this gone. And then I want to show you what it's like when you color on tissue, because you do have to think about this. Tissue paper is very porous, so while this paper just looks a little bit damp on the back, this paper, it's going to go clear through the tissue paper, and so is the color. So you're going to want, let's go for this one. To make sure that you don't move your paper around a lot. And just like with watercolors, if you pull the color from the darker area to the lighter, you'll get that sort of water, let's say shaded effect. Oops. Sorry, that soft frame. I'm just cleaning the brush out. Now, if I'd have realized how much I really enjoyed these when I got them, I would have gotten a larger set with a few more colors. And I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the tissue paper is stuck right down to my table, just right now. Okay. All right, now while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to take this one out. It is dry. Okay, but what I wanted to really show you is that this is stuck to the table. And when you pick it up, you want to be careful where you lay it, because the tissue paper, like I said, is porous. So you have ink still on your table, and you want to make sure you clean that up before you lay another piece of paper down on there. Now, as I said, one of the big reasons that I do this is so that I can have multiple pieces of paper, different things that I want to adhere down. And if I'm going to try to lay them down, they have to be, I'm going to use some sort of glue, and the glue sometimes picks up color. So, I'm sorry. I'm going to set these aside for right now. Okay, that will do. Oh, let's just do a nice dragonfly. We'll just cut this one out. Now the big thing is that if you color with those pencils and you don't get them activated completely, they will bleed when you go to glue them down. So you want to make sure that you have watered down your dry pencil to be completely wet at some point. Once it is, and then it dries. And they must dry. They can't be wet when you go to start gluing them down. So you want to kind of color your pieces ahead of time. Okay, there's a couple pieces we can put down. And we'll put it down right here on our page. And I'm just going to I use a mixture of Mod Podge and glue. It's in this Liquitex bottle just because then I can shake it up real good. And I found it doesn't dry up as bad as when I have the same thing in a bowl. So I'm going to use a brush. And as you can see, it's not bleeding. Ooh, that's icky. Icky, icky. There we go. So that is how I get a watercolor effect with the Derwent Inktense pencils. I really like these guys. I like the fact that they're permanent. As far as colored pencils go, if you like coloring with colored pencils, they color very nice. They're soft. They are pricey for plain colored pencils because they are ink instead of just pigment. The Inktense blocks, I would love a set of those, but there again I have the pencils, so to go and get something different, sorry for the glare guys, to go and get something different, these work perfect. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I'm going to read you a little quote from our 1001 Ways to Creativity book. I'm about halfway through. Does that mean I've made 500 videos? I'm surprised if that's the case. One of the greatest wonders in the world is the fact that we can wonder in the first place. I really like that. Okay guys, go have fun. Make some art. Bye-bye.